Welcome to Leaders in Action. I'm Robin Trimmingham of the Olderhood Group, and my guests today are Olderhood CEO Bill Story and Brian O'Hara, who is former chairman and CEO of XL and undoubtedly a leading insurance expert. Welcome, Brian.
Nice to be here, Robin.
Well, thank you so much for taking time to chat with us today. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be very interested to hear what you have to say. You've had quite a long career in the insurance industry. What first got you interested in the insurance market?
Well, when I graduated with an economics degree from University of Santa Clara, I was looking for a job in San Francisco, which is nearby, and we just got hit with a really severe recession and stagflation. I always had a thought that the most fun place to try to make money would be in banking. And that year, banks were not hiring anybody. They were laying off. And a lot of industries were. It was a really bad year economically. There was one industry, though, that was hiring, and that was insurance. Mm-hmm. This is when I started to understand that actually the insurance industry is recession proof because it's a product that everybody has to buy every year, whether they like it or not. That kind of grew on me after a while. But the one thing it struck me about insurance that it was rather staid. Nobody I went to school with talked about going into the insurance industry. The image insurance industry had back then was lousy, boring, and door-to-door salesman type thing. But one thing I did see was that analyzing risk, commercial risk, was kind of fun, and taking those risks. Another thing I noticed is there wasn't a lot of talent in the company. I was at Royal Globe, which was one of the oldest, largest companies in the world at that time. You know, it wasn't full of really high-powered, energetic go-getters. And at first that turned me off. Then on further review, I went, gee, nobody's home. This is an area you could really go up the ladder pretty fast. And so I decided to dive into it, and I learned about CPCU, and I dove into that head first. And one thing, I was trained as a package underwriter, property and casualty, but I was really attracted to casualty, and I took a legal course on my way to CPCU, and really learned a lot that I needed to know about being a casualty underwriter. And then a big thing that happened 2 years later in '73, they hired me at Employers Reinsurance, which was later owned by General Electric. But reinsurance was rather new field and just about ready to take off. So the timing there couldn't have been better. And then I eventually moved over to General Reinsurance, which was the leading U.S. reinsurer in the mid '70s. And that led to going out with 4 other guys from General Re to form Trenwick Reinsurance, which was the first Bermuda-based independent reinsurance company.
So talk about being in the right place at the right time. You've built things in the reinsurance realm from the ground up. So what's it like to lead a team, and how do you help them adopt better business practices?
Well, it wasn't about adopting better practices. It was actually reinventing how large commercial casualty risk was taken and done. Now, the interesting thing about the formation of XL is that the capital actually came from the customers. And in some structured ways, it was like a mutual insurance company, although it was for profit. And we had a goal to eventually, if things went well, take it public. So one of the things that we started doing that hadn't been done in the industry before was actually meeting with the customer and having intense meetings of the mind and understanding of what their risks really were and how much we had to charge for them, in the pursuit of creating a stable long-term relationship, as opposed to what had been going on for the last 25 years before that, which is highly cyclical, boom bust. and rates would go way up and then they go way down. And the buyers actually didn't like that. They wanted something consistent that they could kind of count on in their budgeting and all of that. So we were able to get buy-in from our first 100 commercial large risk customers into that model, and we continued that pretty much in everything that we did.
I do remember, Brian, the first time you and I met was you were with the Trenwick at that time, but even I have to admit that's a few years ago. And I certainly remember the formation of Excel. And I think one of the things that I noticed then, and I think has continued through the life of Excel, has been a corporate culture. I think the corporate culture at Excel has been a tremendous benefit or a tremendous asset to the prosperity of the company. Do you think the corporate culture helps the success of any given business?
Well, without a doubt. And when it really becomes apparent how valuable it is when you have tough times, when things go bad, whether it's your fault or not. But now I was blessed. We were given a large amount of capital. I was the first employee, and with $440 million of capital, that's never happened before. So I didn't have to worry about money in managing the company at all, which was nice. I wanted to create an atmosphere where you didn't get up and go to work every day. You got up to go to the fun. We're going to have fun because making money is fun. Doing things right is fun. Having your customers and brokers enjoy doing business with you is fun. And that was at the heart of it. And what I learned, what I brought with me was I had really robust experience in sports. I got to play for an undefeated state championship football team and an undefeated college basketball team at Santa Clara my freshman year. And both instances, it was because of great coaching. And I tried to bring with me everything I learned from those coaches and the way that they treated everybody on the team, whether you're a star or a sometime player. And I tried to do that with Excel, to have little hierarchy. We're all on the same team. We all came to play the game every day together to win and share in the rewards. When unexpected huge losses happened and things like that, that's where it really came to the fore in terms of its value. Because people, when we had those days, people just pulled together right away. There wasn't recrimination, no finger pointing, and if somebody did something really wrong, we'd have to address that. But very few times I actually had to terminate somebody. Very, very few.
Mm-hmm.
You have a reputation of being a very approachable, hands-on kind of leader in a good way. I think a lot of people are going to be very interested in the next chat that we have with you about the book that you've written.
I'm not sure what to say about that, Robin.
I think you can trust us on this one. You've been watching Leaders in Action. If you have a comment or a question about the video, you can reach out to us at Bill, that's BILL, at olderhood.com, and look forward for the next video with more from Brian O'Hara.